You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic.
The Chicago Bears must add one of these centers this offseason to solidify the offensive line. Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Happy Saturday, and thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. So on today's episode of Keek on the Mic, I'm going to get away from the quarterback talk for a little bit. I'm going to talk a little bit about the offensive line and how Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears really need to find a new starting center this offseason, because everyone knows that center is a massive need for the Chicago Bears this offseason and the Chicago Bears offensive line. And we also know that we cannot, and I repeat, cannot go into next season with Lucas Patrick as our starting center. So Ryan Poles definitely has to get after it and find a new starting center for the Chicago Bears offensive line. So on today's episode of Kick on the Mic, let's go over 5 different options that the Chicago Bears can choose from in both free agency and the NFL draft to improve the center position on the Chicago Bears offensive line. And let me tell you this, Bears fans, each of the options that I give on today's episode of Kick on the Mic would definitely be major upgrades to the center position for the Chicago Bears. And as always, as I'm going through each of these options, go ahead and engage with me. Comment down below in the comment section. You guys can agree with me on these options and also give me some options that you guys think would be good fits and major upgrades for the center position for this Chicago Bears offensive line. The first player on my list, Bears fans, is Lloyd Cushenberry, originally of the Denver Broncos. He is set to be a free agent. He stands at 6'4", 315 pounds, and he's still only 26 years old. And he had absolutely a career year with the Denver Broncos. He definitely showed improvement as a run blocker and has been one of the best centers in the league in terms of pass blocking as well. So I really like that. Everyone knows that the Bears have a major hole at the center position. This guy really definitely catches my attention. I feel like he has been a major piece for this Denver Broncos offensive line for the last couple of years. I think he's ready to be paid. I think he's ready to prove himself more as a center in the National Football League. Like I said, I think he showed major improvement as a run blocker, but he also elevated his game as a pass protector as well. So I really like to see that. I honestly feel, Bears fans, that Cushenberry would fill a major void at the center position for the Chicago Bears offensive line, which truthfully won't be hard to do because Lucas Patrick is just not it. The second player the Chicago Bears can look into this offseason is Andre James. He's originally with the Las Vegas Raiders. He stands at 6'4", 276 pounds, and he's also only 26 years old. You guys can obviously see the theme that I'm going here. I want to make sure these players are young. I want to make sure they fit our rebuild. There is no reason for the Chicago Bears or Ryan Poles to go out there and get a guy that's 30 plus years old. Each of these guys that I just listed off, they're still young, they're still in their prime, and they are ascending as a player in the National Football League. But Andre James is a very intriguing player, and I think this is going to be more of an underrated option for Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears. He was thrust into the starting center position for the Las Vegas Raiders, and he absolutely thrived. He played tackle for the Raiders in his first couple of years. He's an undrafted rookie in 2019. He played tackle for the first 2 seasons for the Las Vegas Raiders, but then made the switch to the center position in 2021. And he has been a solid force for the Las Vegas Raiders offensive line, especially in pass protection for the last couple of years. I think it's a guy that is going to continue to get better as a player. Once again, he is one of the more underrated options that Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears can go after in free agency this offseason. But I think this is a guy that's going to continue to get better. I think with the right scheme and the right system and the right fit, I think he's going to continue to be a really good player at the center position in the National Football League. Obviously, he now has 3 years of starting experience at the center position. And like I mentioned, he does have versatility. He can also play tackle. So if one of our tackles goes down, he has that ability to push out to one of those tackle positions as well. So that's another thing that I really like about a guy like Andre James. So I think the Bears should definitely take a good long look at a guy like Andre James in free agency this offseason. The third guy on my list, Bears fans, and this is obviously one of my favorite guys going into free agency, and that is Conor Williams. He stands at 6'5", 313 pounds, and once again, he's only 26 years old. Williams did tear his ACL in week 14, which could impact what happens in free agency and depending on which teams want him. If the Bears are actually interested in him, I know the ACL injury is a huge injury. He should be good to go for next season. I'm not sure where he is at in his recovery. I know he tore it in week 14, so that's definitely a huge development that you kind of have to keep a close eye on, but he's still one of the top options if you're looking to upgrade at the center position in free agency this offseason. In 280 pass block snaps played, he only allowed 1 sack, 1 QB hit, and 6 total pressures. He also boasted a 90.5 run blocker grade as well. So he gets after it against the run. He gets after it as a pass protector as well. If he played the full season, this is one of the best centers in the National Football League. So I think he will bounce right back from that ACL injury, and I think he would be a major upgrade for Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears offensive line. Now moving on, Bears fans, to some options that Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears can look at towards the NFL draft in terms of trying to improve the center position on the Chicago Bears offensive line. And obviously my first guy is Jackson Powers-Johnson. He stands at 6'3", 320 pounds. And Bears fans, I absolutely love this guy out of Oregon. I feel that he is the best center in the NFL draft this year. He is a stout and athletic interior O-line prospect coming out of Oregon. When I watch his tape, he shows good leverage, good play strength, good athleticism, hand usage, but also shows really good football IQ as well, playing that center position. He also has experience playing multiple positions. He has played left and right guard, obviously the center position, and right tackle as well. So I love the versatility that he shows coming out of Oregon. This guy, to me, will be a plug-and-play player. He will be a very good NFL center for years to come. I think he can be a starting center as soon as this year as a rookie, and I think he would be a major upgrade over a guy like Lucas Patrick as soon as this year for the Chicago Bears offensive line. I feel like Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears should double dip at the center position because it's time for Ryan Poles to invest into a really good starting center. So go get a guy like Conor Williams for 1 year, or go get a guy like Andre James for 1 year and pair him with a guy like Jackson Powers-Johnson and make it very clear that Jackson Powers-Johnson is your future at the center position for the Chicago Bears. But absolutely love this guy out of Oregon. I strongly believe that he is going to be the best center in this year's NFL draft. So hopefully the Bears take a good, long, hard look at Jackson Powers-Johnson out of Oregon. And Bears fans, the last guy on my list, I obviously love this guy as well. He's been talked about a lot among Chicago Bears fans, and that is Cedric Vann out of Georgia. He stands at 6'4", 310 pounds. And once again, he is another prospect that I really, really like. He has really good size, height, and length for the center position in the National Football League. He boasts a thick, strong build that can help him endure the trenches playing against these bigger defensive tackles in the National Football League. He has major experience playing the center position, 44 career starts playing the center position at the University of Georgia. He's a very good athlete. Bears fans, he can get to the second level with ease, so obviously like that. And one of the main things I like to see from the center position, especially when you pop on the tape, he's a relentless blocker and he finishes through the whistle, especially in the run game, but he's also equally good pass protector as well. He does everything that you need him to do at the center position. This would be another player that I could feel like he could be a plug and play guy. I know I said that Jackson Powers-Johnson to me is the best center in this year's NFL draft, but Cedric Vann, he's not far off whatsoever. I think he's going to have an outstanding career in the National Football League. So I definitely think that Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears should do their due diligence and take a good, long, hard look at both of these guys in the 2024 NFL draft. All right, Bears fans, those are my 5 options that I think Ryan Poles and Chicago Bears should take a look into. There's going to be massive options both in free agency and the NFL draft to upgrade the center position. Once again, I'll repeat this and I'll say it over and over and over again until I'm blue in the face. We cannot go into next year with Lucas Patrick as the starting center for the Chicago Bears offensive line. Rather you're sticking with Justin Fields or rather you're moving on and drafting Caleb Williams, they are going to need a durable and dependable center that can elevate the Chicago Bears offensive line and keep them upright. When you look at the offensive line, most of the pressure was coming right up the middle, right at Lucas Patrick, and he looked like a revolving door on the Chicago Bears offensive line. So it's time for Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears to heavily invest in upgrading that position. And I think that's what Ryan Poles is exactly going to do. And once again, he definitely has options. And I think these 5 guys I listed on today's episode of Kick on the Mic would definitely be major upgrades for the center position and their Chicago Bears offensive line. So overall, Bears fans, do you agree with the 5 options that I listed on today's episode of Kick on the Mic? Let me know down below in the comment section. So Bears fans, if you guys enjoy these type of videos right here on the podcast, make sure you continue to hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms and make sure you share this episode of Kick on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, I'll be back for our all new Bears podcast right here on Kick on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and as always, bear down.
You've been listening to Keek on the Mic, a podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Thanks, guys, and bear down.